welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we will be discussing emergency funds. This is a beginner's guide to emergency funds. So let's jump straight into this video. Just as the title suggests, this is a beginner's guide to emergency funds, why you might need an emergency fund, and 3 simple tips to help you start to grow your own emergency fund. I will also be sharing some tips on determining contributions, automating, and where I keep my emergency fund. So what are emergency funds? To me, an emergency fund is money I would set aside to pay for unexpected expenses such as hospitalization and unemployment. It's a safety net to protect me during unexpected events in life. My why. Personally, I have an emergency fund for peace of mind. I have 6 months worth of living expenses saved to cover myself in the event of loss of income. This would be sufficient to tide me over and pay my expenses until my relevant insurance policies are paid out or I secure alternate employment. So how can you build an emergency fund? Well, there are several different ways that you can start, and I will detail some tips and tricks in the next portion of this video as to how you can get that done. So tip 1, my very first tip is to save any unexpected income, so maybe any bonuses from work, your yearly tax return, or any unexpected refunds. This will require a little bit of discipline though, as the urge to spend this unexpected money can be a little bit irresistible. If you can manage to do that, you'll be well on your way to an emergency fund. Tip 2. Tip 2 is to declutter, selling any unwanted or unused items and directing the money generated towards your emergency fund. Personally, I find tech gadgets and items in new or unused condition tend to sell best. Using detailed descriptions and good quality photographs help me move my listings on sites such as Gumtree and Marketplace. Tip 3. Tip 3 is to work a set amount each pay cycle into your regular budget and automate the transfer so that it occurs without any action on your part. Even an amount as little as $10 per week can really boost your emergency funds. That would be $520 per year. So you might be wondering where your emergency fund should live. Personally, my fund is held in a high interest savings account with ING. Whilst the money sits, it is generating interest. The fund is out of sight and out of mind, but still easily accessible should an emergency arise. Please note I do not have a debit card attached to this account. So determining your contribution. If you can, sit down and figure out a way that you can contribute to your emergency fund over time. Small contributions really do all add up. Take some time to figure out your number, which is what you feel you would be comfortable having in case of an emergency fund, and work towards that figure. It might be $1,000 or it might be 3, 6 or even 12 months worth of expenses. Automation is really important. This is the easiest way to grow your emergency fund in my opinion. Simply set your contribution and forget. Think of it as another bill or expense that you need to pay, like rent or a credit card repayment. Take the guesswork out of it and schedule an automatic transfer each pay cycle to get you that much closer towards your goal of a fully funded emergency fund. So my number. My personal number is 6 months living expenses, as I briefly mentioned earlier in this video. Now, this does not include any fund money. This amount is just purely what I would need as a minimum to scrape by over a period of 6 months without income. This is to cover all of my non-negotiable outgoings, so my rent, utilities, fuel, groceries, etc. My number is $10,000 held in emergency fund. This number, I believe, would prevent me from failing to pay my day-to-day expenses and falling into debt. So, do you have an emergency fund, or do you have any other ideas of how to grow an emergency fund initially, or anything that worked well for you? Please let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any future uploads. You can also find me across social media as The Art of Budgeting on Instagram, Facebook, and Pinterest.